Hello friends, it's Terry Wilson, and today I'm posting for ScrapbookPal. So I had the opportunity to use this gorgeous Spellbinders Delphinium die and the Arches, Arbor and Ivy 3D embossing folder. So again, I'm showing you kind of the parts that I use. So again, it was so much fun just playing with these. And I'll be honest, once I got all the floral blooms put together, I decided I couldn't put it on a card and I had to make a home decor piece. So again, you'll see here I pre-cut a lot of the different die cuts. So we'll go ahead and put the stem together. So I've got my Nuvo adhesive out. So we'll go ahead and put the stem together. And again, I'm just gluing down the very center of the stem because I need to put the buds in between the two layers of the the buds there. And I will tell you that when I first got the die, I was kind of challenged to figure out how to put it together. So I went to the Spellbinders website and was able to locate lots of great information about how to assemble this particular die set. So again, I cut out a whole bunch of leaves here, and you can see here I'm using my Altenew Stampwheel adhesive grid to actually hold all of the pieces in place. And I've got Rustic Wilderness Distress Ink and my Altenew blending tool. And all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of extra color to the tips. I did the same thing with all of the purple pieces as well. And again, it just kind of gives it a little bit more depth and a little bit more interest. So I'm not going to show you doing all of the pieces. So like I say, I just did it on the leaves and then the petals. So again, just kind of blending away. And then you can kind of see here, it does add just a faint shadow. So here's all of my little pieces. So I have my Copic C7, and I cut out the center floral stamen from like it's a soft yellow piece. So again, I went ahead and colored the tips with that C7. And now you can see here, I've got my, my tweezers here, and I'm just kind of rolling up the stamen, added a little bit of the Nuvo adhesive on there. So I'm just kind of rolling it between my fingers, and then we'll set it aside to dry. And then I've got those pieces here. So I'm using my petal shaping tools. Again, I've had these for a really long time. So I'm kind of drawing a line down the center of each petal. And then I'll go ahead and grab my tweezers and pick them and then roll them between my fingers. So again, I'll just show you putting together this one particular flower. Obviously, I made a whole bunch of them for my home decor piece. So again, I'll just show you the one here. So we're just kind of folding and rolling the petals. So there's that little bloom piece there to attach it to. So again, using my Nuvo adhesive, and this is a 5-petal flower. So I kind of figured that the double one wrapped around the kind of one petal that was kind of all by itself. So that's the way I handled it. So then we'll go ahead and put a little blob of glue there in the middle, and we'll add that yellow stamen to the middle. So this was quite a process putting all of these together. Like I say, I needed several more. So as you can see, I did both some light purple and some dark purple, and got them all put together. So the next process was doing the buds for the top. And again, I just used the 3-layer piece for the kind of the middle section, and the two petals for the smaller buds. So again, it was kind of a challenge to get these put together, but once I did, they sure turned out great. So again, I kind of flattened the very base so that I would have something to attach between those kind of two bud holders there at the top. So again, the couple of the two petal ones go at the top, and then a couple of the 3-layer ones go next in line. So again, this is really coming to life. And, like I say, after I got some of the purple flowers on there, I just decided I'm not putting this on a card. So you'll see how I handled it in a little bit. So again, just kind of adding the adding the buds there. So I thought it turned out really nice. And then we'll start adding flowers. So I decided to go ahead and take this is the Arbor and Ivy, and it is a 3D embossing folder. So what I did is I'm using a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, Nina cardstock, and I went ahead and spritzed it so that I could get better description there. And I did cut out 3 of them. So again, and then I ended up fussy cutting them out of that background because again, I wanted to have an arbor to attach all of my flowers to. And you can see there, my coffee's in the picture there. Always got my coffee with me. So again, I'm moving on. Decided to do somewhat of a background. So this is just an artist board that I'm actually just applying acrylic paints to. So I used kind of a bright green and a lighter blue and then a bright purple. And this is from my stash. So again, I'm just kind of got a thick brush here, and you can see I'm really watering it down because again, I wanted it to be very, very watery, just, a little bit of pop of color in the back underneath that bright white ivy. So I thought that was kind of fun. So I'm grabbing a paper towel here, and what I'm going to do is make the clouds up there kind of in the blue and partially in the purple area. So I'm re-wetting it here, and then I'm kind of mooshing up my paper towel and just kind of blotting it on there. And again, that just kind of gives the illusion of clouds in the sky. So once that was totally dry, I decided to add more interest. So I am using Ranger's translucent texture paste, and I'm using it with the one of Tim Holtz's stencils. And again, I'll list that in the description below. So again, just kind of adding some interest here. It says Arches stencil, I believe. So the next thing I did was I pulled out the 3L foam squares. Again, I wanted more depth to that arch. I already had 3 layers on it, but again, I wanted a little bit of extra depth. And so again, how many arbors in a garden are bright white? I'm not thinking they stay white for too long. So I grabbed my Lost Shadow Distress ink. This is actually the Oxide, and I actually just rubbed the pad right onto my arbor. So again, I'm kind of measuring up here what I'm going to do. You can see once the translucent paste dries, it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, which is kind of cool. So again, just measuring here, I am measuring up where I'm going to put it. I need to get all of those little foam square pieces off of there so I can actually adhere the arbor to my piece. So again, I've got my leaves here, and I decided to put a few leaves behind the arbor just to, again, add a little bit of interest and dimension. So I took my my pokey tool. You could use this, any kind of a pencil or a pen or whatever, and I just kind of rubbed the leaves around it to get that dimension. And so again, I've got my Nuvo glue here. We'll just kind of add them to the base of my decor piece. So again, kind of moving them around, checking to see what I like. And here I'm measuring it up to see what I need. And I decided one of them needs to be a little bit lower, so I added one a little lower. I had plenty of these. Again, when I die cut, I tend to just, really go to town and cut out a whole bunch of them. So I have lots of pieces. So again, I've got that arbor, and we'll go ahead and attach that on there. And you can see what a great shadow behind it. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my my floral stem here. I have to kind of decide how high up I want it. And again, I'm going to run the Nuvo glue down the stem. And I attached it to it's actually kind of in the middle of the 2 arbor pieces. So then I'll go ahead and grab my scissors and cut off the bottom. And then I'm just kind of pressing on it to make sure that it gets adhered well. And then I decided I probably didn't get the bottom very well, so we'll add a little bit more glue down there. So So there I go with a little bit more glue. And then we'll go ahead and add some of the leaves on top. I ended up taking that top leaf off because as I was attaching the purple blooms, I was getting pretty close there, and I think there is kind of a little space in there. So you can see I'm just kind of randomly assigning colors here, adding the Nuvo glue, and just kind of working on it. And you know, from what I understood, at the top, you know, you kind of have single blooms, and then it goes into 2 blooms, and then at the bottom you almost have 3 blooms across. So again, I'm just adding all of the blooms. I did decide to add a couple of blooms down at the lower right just for interest. I thought that, you know, the arbor needed some balance, you know, so they're just there. I made a little Delphinium bush down there at the bottom right, along with a leaf. So again, just kind of working them in here, kind of like a puzzle. You know, but like I say, it has so much dimension to it that I just could not see it as a card. I really felt strongly that, you know, that I wanted to make a home decor piece. So that's what I did. So the last thing I'm doing is I'm pulling out some, you know, white gesso, and I'm just going to do some splatters. And I had to kind of go back and add some more gesso because my first splattering was pretty watery. So again, they're just adding a little more gesso. And so I'm almost done with my decor piece. So I hope you've enjoyed my video. Please take a moment and subscribe to the ScrapbookPal YouTube. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. So here's my final product.